If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome to another episode of the True Sweet Hide podcast, you guys. I'm so excited. I just love doing these. Today's guest is Coach Lori Wagner, and I call her Coach because she is. She has earned it, and the things that she does is amazing. She is helping people overcome limiting beliefs to achieve their goals, and she's constantly just trying to keep people motivated. And when I first met her virtually through the Vetpreneur Tribe, and then I got to see her in person, and her smile is infectious. She is just a ray of sunshine. So Lori, I'm really honored to have you on here today, and I can't wait for you to share about yourself and then how you got to where you are now.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm very appreciative and grateful for this opportunity. Most definitely, yes.
Thank you. So tell us, what did you do before you decided to be a coach and just be so positive?
Well, I spent 22 years in the Air Force, and I retired from the Air Force in 2013. And so throughout my military career, I just had an opportunity to lead people, first and foremost, lead people in my military career. And throughout my journeys, it just I had an opportunity to meet some amazing mentors. And I met a mentor many years back before I retired from the Air Force, and his name was Rick Gettle. And he introduced me to Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich, and that just kind of started my journey. And Rick was so instrumental in just encouraging me. And he used to call me kiddo. He was a lot older than me, and he's now passed on. But, I look back at some of our conversations, and it was just so amazing because he used to say, one day you're going to be a speaker, a coach, an author. And, I had to ride on his belief initially. And here I am today, and I look back and I think if Rick could be here to see this, he would just be so proud. But yeah, that's kind of how it started, I guess.
Wow, that is so amazing. And the fact that, thank you for your service, that 23 years is a very long time. And to see female leaders complete such a tremendous accomplishment is so inspiring. So I'm sure that those that are listening are going, oh my God. But and I'm sure you have people who look up to you and are just so fascinated by what you achieve, because you don't see that. That's very rare for females to complete that length of time and to retire. And so you became an author and a speaker and a coach. So if it wasn't for him telling you all that, do you think you'd be here today doing what you're doing?
Yes, actually, because when I go back even farther, prior to my military career, I remember about the age of 13, I used to be, well, first off, I was a total nerd, and I was a bookworm, and I used to just devour anything that I could find in terms of reading. And about the age of 13, I just decided, I'm going to literally transport myself to these other worlds and these other places. And I would read about these faraway locations and say to myself, one day I'm going to travel to those places. One day I'm going to do all of these amazing things. And, as, time went on, and then I joined the military, and then I've met some amazing mentors along the way. To include one of my commanders when I was stationed in Oklahoma. Same thing. He used to say, you're going to do great things. You're going to do great things. And so I had a lot of amazing mentors along the way that really encouraged me But it all started, a long time ago. And I always tell people I've been studying this personal development stuff for about 33 years. And people think you don't look old enough to have been studying for 33 years. But, it all started, like I said, when I was about 13. And I started reading books like, Dr. Dennis Waitley and Norman Vincent Peale and these types of authors. And that just inspired me. And as I learned more and as I grew professionally and personally, I just realized that this was my passion and calling, just to really help people and just help, educate and empower others to take control of their lives.
That's incredible that you started that young reading those kinds of books. I mean, I think I was still playing with I don't even know what I was doing at 13.
Just Cabbage Patch. I don't know. What did we have back then? Cabbage Patch dolls or something?
Oh yeah, I did. I had like 3. And Care Bears and whatever the case is. I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't know. I wanted to be a singer when I grew up. So that was my dream. But so it seems to, how were your parents in all of this? Is that how you were raised? Were they just like you, reading and always constantly trying to learn new things?
No, actually, it's kind of I don't even know how it evolved, to be honest with you, because my mom was very encouraging. She was a single parent raising 3 kids by herself, and she worked a lot. But just something in me, I just had this infectious drive, this desire to want more out of life, and honestly, I don't know where it came from. I mean, at a very young age, I don't know where it came from, and all I can attribute to, if I look back on my life, is my faith. At the time, I grew up in a Catholic home, and I just knew, I just leaned on my faith, and as I've evolved, I've kind of gotten a little bit more and expanded my horizons from a spiritual standpoint. But back then it was my faith, and that was really what was driving me. And I just had this burning desire, as Napoleon Hill says, that there's got to be something more out there. And I just kind of went with it. And just, I used to sit on the floor at the library, and I would just literally pull books off and just random books and just read anything I could get my hands on, until I really just started, consciously becoming aware of what my real true passion was. Wow.
I'm just like in awe of everything that you've done. That's amazing to me. I've seen some of the things that you have done lately, especially with our friend, we both have a mutual friend, Dr. Rob Garcia, and the fact that you guys want to change the world and help all of us. It's so inspiring. And I think just specifically for you and your constant positivity in your posts that you have on social media, it's almost like, yes, I just want to like raise my hand up and go, yes, I totally feel you. And I'm always using exclamation points, because it's like, I want you to hear that I'm hearing you and that you totally just pump me up. So when you decided to get with Rob to do this course, the course, do you need to promote your business? Then podcast sponsorship is a great way to do just that. Podcast sponsorship is a great way to connect with new customers, a new audience, a new range of people who don't know about you. It is also an easy way to increase traffic to all of your social media and your website. If you need to promote your business and would like to be a sponsor of the Truths We Hide podcast, then let's connect. Head on over to awildridecalledlife.com and click on the sponsorship tab. Are you registered to vote at your current address? More than 60% of eligible voters have never been asked to register. HeadCount.org is working to change that. At HeadCount.org, you can also check your registration status. Millions of people get purged from the voter rolls every year. Everyone should check their registration status every year. The deadline to register to vote in some states is as early as October 4th, so you want to check before then. You can also request an absentee ballot. Get info on early voting, find your polling place, or see what's on your ballot.
HeadCount is a nonpartisan nonprofit that tours with musicians to help concert attendees register to vote. But you don't need to leave your house to register or get voting info. Just visit headcount.org.
Wages of intelligence.
What was your drive to do that? What did you want to see happen with that?
Well, I see a lot of people that are not living their dreams or not living their life purpose. And I think a lot of times we just kind of get stuck and we settle. And as we, get older, we just look back and we think, that was a pipe dream. I'll never be able to do that for whatever reason, whether it be a time thing, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, those limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves. I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have the right resources, all of these types of things. And after meeting Rob, and we started discussing this, we started really looking at what can we do to impact a greater audience? What can we do to impact more people and help them overcome those limiting beliefs and realize that, you can have and do anything in this world that you want to do or have. It's just a matter of overcoming those paradigms or those limiting beliefs or that self-sabotage talk that we say to ourselves. And, a lot of this is ingrained in us as we're, being raised in the homes that we're being raised in. And I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just it's just something that happens. And so I think, finding the right mentor, the right coach, or the right person to just kind of, sometimes we have to ride on someone else's belief in us before we can see it for ourselves. And I think that our purpose and Rob and I's purpose is to just let people know that we believe in people and we know that you can do it, and ride on our belief until you gain the belief and the confidence for yourself.
You are so right about that. I personally suffered once in a while from imposter syndrome and like you said, I didn't have that belief in myself, and I had to ride on everyone else's and be like, you know what? They genuinely think I could do whatever it is I'm doing. So why don't I believe that in myself? And then I think surrounding myself by positive people in our tribe has helped me tremendously. And I've always encouraged people to surround yourself with like-minded and like-hearted people, because that could change your life. And the settling part too, you're right, because I this morning I was having a conversation. A lot of us feel like we need to settle because it's safe and it's, you're making the money and you're doing the thing, but is that really what you want? Mm-hmm. And so we're afraid to go after it. And I think I know you all have helped me go after what I really want to do and not just settle, because now I know that I'm not just this. I am making impact and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But so what do you tell somebody who suffers from that, imposter syndrome, and they just don't think they could do it? They're kind of afraid to go after it.
Well, the very first thing that I always ask people, and I always want to know this because I want to know where your thought is, and is what do you really want? Like, what do you really want? Like, we can say, I want, a flourishing business, or I want, a certain type of home or a certain type of car. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. It's like, what do you really want? Like, what do you really want? And then why do you want that? Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, if you can really uncover what do you really want out of life, and what type of impact do you want to make, whether it's just in your own personal life, for your own family, or for yourself, or for a greater impact in the world, and then why do you want to do that? Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, if we have a big enough why, we can accomplish anything that we want to accomplish. But, I help people, through education and helping them uncover some of those limiting beliefs through exercises and different strategies. And it's hard. I mean, we're raised, in a certain type of home with certain beliefs and certain types of things. And again, it's not intentional. It's not like our parents or our grandparents intentionally set out to do that.